Nick and I strongly both believe that there is a future in Australian design and construction with homes built around the premise that less is more. If the design is approached correctly, there shouldn't be any compromise when you shrink the floor area. We need to shrink our floor space and increase the quality of our buildings if we're to have any chance of having a better built landscape in the future. The brief for this project started when myself, a frustrated builder, approached Nick Lane, an emerging designer, and we wanted to shatter the idea that a small space couldn't be a generous space. The building currently resides in Illawarra, a patch of farmland in southwest Victoria, and looks over the Cutting, which is a beautiful stretch of coastline where the sea cuts through the sand dunes into an inlet. You approach this building along some basalt pavers leading up to the staircase, which is a combination of old cow trough supports, reclaimed hardwood and some perforated mesh that we salvaged from an old farm shed on this very property. As you enter through a pivot door, you enter into the kitchen area. The bamstone cobbles really pares back the space, especially as we're sitting upon an old lava flow. It really ties this building to the landscape very well. To the southwestern end of the lounge room, we have a fully double glazed steel window section with operable awnings to get cross-flow ventilation throughout the whole building. As you lead up to the mezzanine space that's set into the floor, you have a study nook. And it kind of blurs the connection between the upstairs and downstairs spaces. One of the challenges in designing small transportable buildings is you have to fit within dimensions that can travel under the Vic Road licensing laws. You can collapse the roof down by about 1,500 millimetres. The building then travels to location and we use a mechanical screw system to crank the roof up, operated by the very same wheel that operates the staircase. Whenever I have an opportunity to find a beautiful old piece of rusted metal, timber, or whatever it might be, and turn it into something that people appreciate, that's probably the most joy I get out of the building process, because it starts to shift people's attitude towards what has value and what doesn't. Every piece of furniture in this building was built out of reclaimed hardwood. The floor in the living area is recycled ironbark I got from a friend of mine in Melbourne, and many of the other timber elements have been salvaged from multiple jobs that I've worked on through the years. Textural materiality of what you put, especially in a small space, can set the standard on how you feel. The feeling people get when they enter this house is a sense of breathing out. The Aussie Shed has a significant place in the Australian built landscape, and we want to champion that ideal by creating modest buildings that reveal themselves as you approach, but from a distance look like just another farm shed sitting on the landscape.